All right, I think we'll get started. If somebody else comes in, that's great. So my name is Anya. Brad, we have met. We have not met, Leslie. Nice to meet you. Are you new to the office?
Fairly new. I started back in September.
Okay, all right. Is this your first career in real estate?
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent.
I was a dental assistant.
Okay. Which office?
Cooper Creek Dental. Right
Okay.
over here.
Nice, nice. Okay, this is rocking. This is not good. So my name is Anya. I've been in business now almost 14 years. I've got my anniversary coming up on the 1st. Can't believe it. It's been an interesting journey. I wish I would have listened from the beginning what others were teaching, looked at the systems and models. I didn't. I thought I was going to reinvent the wheel. Why listen to people that have gone before me? Yeah, it was a struggle for many, many years. The last time I was going to quit the business was 2015. I had it to here. And I told my husband, John, this is it, we're getting out. You get your resume ready and go back into construction, get a job. And while we were preparing to get out of the business, we needed to make money. So we just kind of buckled down, did open houses, started calling everybody. In 2015 turned into the best year ever. And here we are today. We've got a small team growing, and it's not really exciting. Now, it took us a total of 14 years to get here. We could have fast-tracked it if we had listened, or if I had listened to, I was the first one getting into the business, if I had listened to what they were teaching from the beginning. So you can follow me and take a lot of time to get where you need to be, or you follow these systems that we are teaching you here and fast track it. Makes life a lot easier, a lot less heartache, worries. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. So let's see here. So this course today is Win with Buyers. I'm the buyer's agent on the lead buyer's agent on our team. The way we've got it split up, John does listings. I do work only with buyers. And then we've got Daria on our team. She's also a buyer's agent. And I love working with buyers. And we are now working on streamlining the business, really putting systems into place. You've noticed there is very little inventory today, and it just makes it really difficult finding homes. You want to make sure if you find the right home, that your buyer doesn't waste time, or that you spin your wheels and their wheels showing them homes that they don't want to see. So if you go to page, let's see, which page is that? I think it's page 7, this one here. So in this chapter, we'll be talking about mindset and models that help you win with buyers. We are going to be talking about the 7-step buyer service cycle model, a winning mindset, and getting the most out of this experience. If you have any questions, just interrupt me. It's a small class. If you see anybody pop up and I miss it, let me know. So tell me, why are you here today? Are you working with buyers? Have you worked with buyers? Tell me a little bit.
Yeah, I've done a few open houses and have met people that wasn't what they really desired. So I'm helping 2 different couples look.
Perfect.
And it's everything from questions on financing to what else is available. We only want to be here, finding those 3 properties that are available in the area they want. It's pretty small. And going, this is what you have, your options are at this point.
Right.
And they're younger, but they own 2 homes up in Pennsylvania. One's kind of a apartment they rent out, or bakery down below, and they want to be down here.
Nice.
But they don't use banks. Everything is owned. They paid cash for everything.
Nice.
And so their biggest fear right now is, we're going to need a mortgage, but how do we get one? We don't have a bank. We don't have any of these types of things. So I've been, let them know that here's my app, which brings up the KW mortgage,
Yeah.
the Van Dyke, and also their prior military. So I said,
Okay.
hey, maybe Federal Credit Union, you're not
Yeah.
a member, you can get in, and it's 1.8 right now for good
Wow.
credit for a
Yeah, that's
30-year
awesome.
mortgage. So
Yeah. So you're working with buyers, got them in open houses. Any other ways that you've gotten open house buyers?
I do. I have a couple of buyers. I have ones that we're getting ready to close on the 29th, I believe.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and then another set of buyers they're building. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's new construction is really awesome because you bring them in, they do the work,
Yeah. I see.
they sign the contract, and then you just kind of are your folks local that are building?
Yes.
Okay, so
They're my in-laws.
okay, makes it even easier. Yeah. So they'll be checking on the progress. If you've got out of town folks, typically in a normal contract to close period, 6 weeks, you are constantly in contact with your buyers. If they are building, it can be 8 to 10 months today. It's sometimes difficult to stay in touch because, what are you calling every week about? So with out of state people, what I've done is, I would swing by the construction site and just take a couple of pictures or a video, just even though the builders reps do it for the most part, but just kind of, so that they don't forget about you between signing the contract and then coming to closing, because between these 8 months, there could be referral opportunities being had. Okay, why don't you tell me what you most like about working with buyers?
I actually like just meeting, discussing, and finding out what they really want.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, well, I haven't dealt with a lot, but in the one instance, the younger couple, they don't really know what they want. So you have to kind of walk them down a path to
Right.
pull the information out of them, which, I like to hunt and fish, and that to me is like fishing and hunting with these guys to just, what is it? I mean, why are you here? Why this area? Why do you have to just be within the zip code and you can't look at some other place? So I enjoy that.
Right. What about you?
For me, what I found is most exciting and can kind of be a little stressful at the same time. It's like when something new pops on the market and it's within their criteria, I'm like quick on the phone, like, hey, we gotta go see this, let's go see right now,
Right.
We have to be like quick. So I kind of like that, the excitement in that,
Yeah. Downside with that is you are being quick, he's being quick, I'm being quick. We're all flying to the property and have tons of offers. So as exciting as that is, when you find these properties and you go, this is the one, there is a flip side to it. And our market today is really challenging as a buyer's agent. And we got to prepare our buyers. Today it's not, the deal is you get the property. That's the big deal. It's not how much discount did you get. A year ago, it was always like, yeah, usually you get like 3% off and you got a good deal. Today, you got a good deal if you got the house. That's something that certainly has changed. What are some of the challenges that you may have seen?
one that stands out to me the most is with those same buyers who we found this house, I could tell that they fell in love with it, and getting out there, it bothered me emotionally because, I couldn't get this for them, I don't know, I internalized it a little bit. So it was
Yeah.
difficult for me.
Yeah.
I think with mine, they're timid to commit to something because it's their first time. I mean, they have a couple of them, they're young, I think the relatives and some other things that happen here. So just trying to, I'm spending time really gaining their trust
Mhm.
and just try to get them to go forward and make a decision or.
Right,
that's what it's up to.
right, right. Yeah, absolutely. And what is your buyer goal this year? How many buyers are you planning on selling?
I'd like to have at least 2 of them.
Okay, so 24 buyer sites. Do you have that as a written goal?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. How about you, Leslie?
My goal number, maybe small, but my goal number was 12.
Okay, was or is? Is.
Yes.
Written down? Is it a written goal? Good. How about you, Britt? You can write comments, I think, and I should be able to see that, I hope. Or Britt, if you just want to speak up, you can do that too. Your microphone is off. So just pipe up, okay? All right. How will you know when you've achieved your goal? So you want to do 24 sales and you want to do 12. How will you know? Well, obviously on December 31, you know, I closed 24, I closed 12, you know, but let's say October 1 comes around, you've got 20, you've got 10. Are you going to make it to your goal?
Depends on how hard you're working with everything else. And
Yeah, right.
things being out there, yeah.
Yeah, right. So setting goals is really important in looking at them on a regular basis. Don't set your goals within your comfort level. I've done that for years, and you will probably achieve those goals because this is where you're comfortable. And you know, I've done that last year, and I think this year, because I know more, this is where I can be. So they always say set your goals high, right? So for me, this past year I had 26 sales. For next year, I want to have 36. It is achievable. I know what I need to do to get to these sales, and we'll talk about different lead generation options that you have. I don't, so my goal is 36. If I fail and I only sell 34 homes, I'm still way ahead where I was the year before. So don't set your goal within your comfort level, go higher, because chances are you'll easily make your comfort goal, and the higher is your stretch goal, and that'll pull you up. And even if you don't make it, you still win.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'll go to the 12-24
Mhm.
just because
Yeah.
I've done a lot of other style training and things with different companies in the military, and I was always putting in, you know, probably 15, 20 years ago, this comfort goal,
Mhm.
which mine for this business was 12, which is why it's 24.
Right.
Because
Right.
what I've found out about myself, if I track it, is I usually double what I'm comfortable with. So I said, I gotta put in a number, so that's what it's.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've done the comfort goal level for years, and that's where we were stuck. And then I've heard it a million times. You gotta set your goals high, and I was just like, I don't want to fail. I don't want to look back at the end of the year and go, oh, such a loser. Didn't make my goal. Everybody makes goal. So, and then this one class, they said it again, and I went, I got it. So, yeah, go with the stretch goal because you can do it. If you fail, you're still way ahead from where you want it to be. So that's not a bad thing. Okay, so this is a quote from Gary Keller. Gary Keller is our co-founder and chairman of the board, Keller Williams. If you haven't heard him speak, he is truly amazing. And here are some words of wisdom. When you interview the very top people and ask them what their biggest challenge is, invariably, They will tell you it is mindset, keeping it strong, focused, and provide positive amid the many challenges they encounter every day on their way to the top and staying there. The vast majority say this is their top issue, not leads, but mindset. I can't agree with this more, um, especially when we are struggling a bit with, I'm not getting enough leads, I'm not getting enough appointments, I'm not hitting my goals. If you let that talk continue, it'll ruin your day. So what they always said in bold is you can control the first thought that comes into your head, right? Something bad happens and you think a bad thought because it just happens, but you can control the following thoughts. So if you pay attention to something like that, you know, call a buyer lead and he goes, oh, I just bought with another agent. And you go, and the thought goes, oh no, I lost the deal. And you hang up the phone and you go, gosh, I should have done this and I should have done that. And why did this happen? Just stop there. Just go, okay, it happened. I'm just going to stop myself and move on to the next thing. So practices of top agents, they know their local market and its inventory. What I do is in the MLS, I've got certain zip codes searches, or just kind of where I get updates. And I look at it every day because I love it. For one, I love seeing what's coming on the market, what's selling. And it also always gives me a quick snapshot. We had yesterday 12 listings come on the market, 39 went pending. So when I talk to a buyer, because this is a trend that I've seen for months now. So when I talk to a buyer and they tell me what their dream home is, I go right away, look guys, our inventory is really tight. Today we had X come on the market, Y leave. This is what we had. We got to be really fast and ready to go. You also want to make sure that you prioritize and manage your leads. You want to know your buyers. The more you know about them, their goals, the easier it makes your job. We want to master our scripts, hire a coach for accountability. Are you with Susan into productivity coaching? Yeah, really important. If you don't have a coach, you are likely not going to achieve your goals because this person cares about you, wants you to achieve your goals. You want to make sure you have somebody just kind of be there for you and hold you accountable because, yeah, that's a big motivation. That's a big motivation. You also want to know your numbers. You want to track how many calls you make, how many contacts, how many nurtures or leads you get, how many appointments you set, because then over time you can see, okay, it takes 200 dials, I make 20 contacts. Out of the 20 contacts, I set one appointment. And out of every 2 appointments, I get a signed agreement. And out of every 3 signed agreement, I've got 2 sales. And you can really predict your business. Huge. Gives you peace of mind, especially when, things don't go the way you want them to go. Those numbers, you can always reflect back and go, okay, wait a minute. If I do X, Y, and Z, this is what's going to happen and these results will follow. You want to use time efficiently and effectively. You want to leverage technology and embrace the 6 personal principles, which are you commit to self-mastery, commit to the 80-20 principle, move from E to P, make being learning-based the foundation of your action plan, remove your limiting beliefs and be accountable. And these principles can be found in Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Did either one of you read it? Have you read it yet?
I haven't finished it, no.
Okay.
Can you
So,
remind me what we can-
entrepreneur two. Hello, good morning. What's the P? Not purpose. It'll come back. It'll come back.
I always think purpose, and that's not it. That's why I said-
Yeah, entrepreneur two. It'll come to us. Okay, let's go to the next slide. We're on page 10, and there's printouts over there, Juliana. Okay, don't trip up the instructor. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow,
That's a, yeah, big. And I'm just teaching half the day, and then Matt is going to do the other half. So in all honesty, models do provide the foundation to success. I know so. I tried it the other way around. You see the unstable model, that was me for years. It did not work. And now I'm working on, setting models into place and following them because it makes life a lot easier. Do you know where our models and systems are coming from? Yeah. MREA. Yeah. So Gary Keller interviewed I think in early 2000s, the top agents and just kind of chatted with everybody, what are you doing? And they put it all in here. So when I first read the book, I was just kind of like, never will I make $1 million in GCI. I was just completely overwhelmed by the thought, by the size of what they were describing. And then somebody said, after I read it, somebody said, just strike out a zero. What about, 100,000? I was just like, oh, that's a lot more achievable, right? At the time, I didn't believe that you can make that much money in this business. And I didn't get the concept. So yeah, the models are coming from the MREA, and you want to read it ideally once a year, because every year you're at a different point in your career and you learn more. So the second time I read it, I just kind of focused on the $100,000 income, the $100,000 GCI, and it was a much better read. I didn't feel as intimidated. And then over time, I've reread it, and now I'm just like, okay, yeah, as we grow as a team, the $1 million GCI is achievable. And I still think, as crazy as it sounds, but yeah, it is. And so Gary says the fastest route to success is to follow models, the best practice of top agents. Again, super true. I tried it the other way around, and that did not work. I almost lost everything doing my own thing. Okay, the next slide is kind of showing us the 7-step buyer service cycle model. And the class is broken up in each of these cycles. And on page 12, it talks about the definition. So the first step in the buyer process is leads to appointments. It's talking about the conversion rate, how to capture them, connect with them, close them, and get them to come in for an appointment. How you prepare, or what you want to prepare for a buyer consultation. Then you're talking about the buyer consultation. And then finding them a home. And really the goal is to show as few homes as possible. It allows you time to sell more or to find more buyers. And also, you might think a buyer wants to see every home that hits the market. They don't. Once you find out what it is they are looking for, I had buyers needing to have room for a piano. And there were homes that came on the map that just didn't fit it. So I would say, I know this is a great home, but you said you needed space. This doesn't have it. And we scratched it off the list rather than going out, seeing it, and then going, oh, right, it doesn't fit. And then, of course, we write offers and negotiate. And we also need to guide them with submitting an offer, especially in today's market with the competitive multiple offer situation that we see a lot. They do need our guidance. And I'm always very honest with my clients and tell them during the consultation, this is the market we are in. Just like I said earlier, it's not, the deal is you got the house. It's not you got $5,000 off. That's a thing of the past. Maybe it'll come back one day, but it's not in today's market. You got the house, and it might mean you need to pay over or go with a short inspection period. So, and then contract to close, you want to make sure that you bulletproof the time period. Make sure you are staying in touch with the lender, with the closing agent, to make sure nothing gets forgotten. Got a panic call from a closing agent yesterday. They didn't realize they needed to order the estoppel. There is a homeowners association in place, and we're supposed to close on the 1st. So, yeah, not sure where that got missed.
Do you see a lot of extension on closing, like these days when there's tax and they want to see the tax of the last year of the people? Like, do you see that often in February?
No, I haven't seen that because usually no, I haven't seen that. So the way I would bulletproof that, when you talk to the lender, make sure they've seen all the documents. Is there anything else that could hold it up? And they will tell you, we need to wait for the tax return. And then I would say, okay, what do you think? What kind of a closing deadline do we need? But I've never run into that, because usually people are, ready to go. Yeah.
What happened to one of my clients now, they couldn't get the financing because they want to see the last year's taxes. So they said, okay, we've got financing, everything is good, but I want to see what did you do last year. So what happened, and so they have to file right away when it opens so fast. So it's probably gonna delay the closing maybe 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Because they want to see it.
Personally, I'd always keep the communication up with everybody. Make sure you talk to your buyers frequently. Have you gotten your, what is it, W-2, W-9, whatever? Have you worked on your taxes? And just kind of, you got to push. So that not the day before closing, it won't come to that, but the week before closing, all panic breaks loose. It's all about communication and keep everybody informed, and tell your buyers, okay, I'm going to let closing know that we might need an extension. I'm going to address it with the listing agent, just so that everybody is prepared and not throws a fit.
So how soon will you do that? Because in this case, I have a 30-day continuous for a loan commitment. And then 15 days after is the closing. So there is a big time gap there. And right now, I know that they're gonna need that tax for their approval. They get all the information, the bank, they're doing everything, and that's what they're waiting for. They have the money in the bank, they can put down 20% or more. So it's all there. It's just this tax year they are waiting to see, which is fine because my clients need money.
Right.
But, so it's all gonna be, but they wanna see it. And it depends on, of course, the IRS, how fast. If they're gonna file the first day they can, in January. So what do you do in that? Can you talk to the seller's agent too, or you just keep it in my circles until it gets closer to the 30 days?
I think I would wait to get closer to the 30 days because you still have a 15-day window. I sometimes kind of purposely write contracts when I know I can get the financing done within like 30, 35 days. I still go with my 30-day window, and that puts it to like the day before closing, maybe. In that kind of a scenario, I would probably talk to my clients and go, I think we need to initiate the conversation today because the sellers are packing. They are going to be out the day before
But
closing.
this is a vacation rental, they're Canadian, so this is empty.
Yeah.
It's not like we are.
When is your closing?
And it says as is, so no, they don't move anything out.
Okay.
So it's kind of empty. And that's why we don't know if I don't want to start a panic on the seller side, saying, oh my God.
No,
what's gonna happen?
with 15 days between the loan commitment date and the closing date, I would wait a little and get closer to that date. Don't wait until the last minute because that can create huge stress if you send out the extension for the loan commitment and financing and all that. Don't do it the day of when it's supposed to end. Do it at least a day or two before, just in case there is a delay. I always hate getting stuff back, and then 5 o'clock comes and you're just like, oh my God, where is it? So yeah, I would wait a little closer to the date since nobody is moving anything, and then just go, hey, just heard from the lender. They need to wait for the tax return for last year. And it's all in, by that time, you might be able to say they've got all of their documents, they submitted it to their accountant and should be getting it back, So that would be my approach. Yeah.
I'm not sure how much I have to communicate with the other side. I don't want them to panic.
Yeah, if you have like a 15-day window and you've got a little bit of time, I would wait a little longer, just kind of to get as much information from the lender, from your clients, and be more confident because the listing agent and the seller is going to
The
go.
mortgage broker said that, she said, I could write up the extension, I could send it to them that they need that, so it's coming from us, not from you. So they
Yeah.
can do that.
I would do that. Leverage it, right? I would definitely do weekly, and depending on, what's going on. If everything's moving pretty smoothly, I think weekly is fine because you call them, you go, hey, everything going, do you need anything? And then you call your client and kind of go, hey, I just spoke with Linda, Joe, and Susie, the title rep, and all's moving right along because buyers and sellers always go, I didn't hear anything. I don't know what's going on. So if you just, make those calls and then call your client to report back saying, hey, all's well, they totally appreciate that. So, and if, something is going on and you need to call more often, then you do that. But yeah. And then post-close, it's really important that you've got your clients in command. You can then add their home anniversary date. Hopefully you've got a birthday, you've got the address, you put them on a, usually when I do the neighborhood snapshots, I set them up to start 6 months down the road. Because by then, they've settled in. And I kind of feel if the market goes a little up and down, at that point, it's different than sending them stuff out and they see something that's less expensive. Today's market unlikely, but it could happen. So I set it up like 6 months down the road just to, to start sending those out. And for birthdays and anniversaries, we do a handwritten card, happy birthday, happy first anniversary. After closing, we call, just at closing, we ask for referrals and reviews. And then after they've settled in, we always, check in, hey, how are things going? How do you like your new home? Do you need anything? Just so that they don't get the feeling of, all right, Juliana got her check, never heard from her again. So just make it a habit to check in with them. And if they need anything, address it. If they don't, that's great. And who else do you know that might be looking? Right? Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. How are we doing in time? I think okay. Okay, so this is about your winning mindset. We said it's all about mindset and to keep in check what's happening between your ears. Why don't you read through all of these 15 points and check off the ones that you do, that apply, and then tally your score. So how did you guys do?
7.
7, okay.
5.5.5.5.
Okay.
If I kind of sort of do something, I don't mind that halfway.
I think we oftentimes kind of sort of do things. Yeah. What about you, Leslie? Okay, good. Yeah. So who wants to share what you do or what you're not doing, and reading these and kind of going, maybe we should do that. All right.
I checked off number 2 as a database of nets.
Mm-hmm.
6, using available technology, learning some of it still, I'm utilizing.
Right, right.
7, set up a business website and have 200 followers, basically.
Nice.
And use social media on that early in the mornings when 5, 6 a.m. and LinkedIn and Facebook and those type of things. Preview homes a lot in the market, so it's a lot of it started because of the couple of clients I have now.
Right.
So I'm doing a lot in areas I want to go for. And I'm signed up to attend family reunions, so I checked that one. I haven't actually done it yet.
It is phenomenal. And if you are not signed up, I saw an email, they've got discounted tickets, $80. You've got to do it. It's amazing. 15 through the 18th, right? Yeah.
And
That starts tomorrow.
February.
February.
Yeah.
I signed up for it at the 119 price because I got an email from Keller Williams.
Yeah.
And Samantha knows a way to change that to the $80 discount.
Oh, well, thanks for sharing, because I bought a ticket for I bought a ticket for JB, our assistant, you know him, and bought it for 109.
Yeah.
And well, A, now it's down to 80, and B, we signed him up for MAPS coaching. Yes, if you're a MAPS client, you get a free ticket. You also get the free ticket when family reunion happens in Dallas, in Las Vegas or something, and that's a $750 value. It's phenomenal.
And that's coaching is that you just you have, what is that?
So they do have 2 levels. It is an investment. So at the beginning level, it's like $500 a month, and you get 2 coaching calls a month. And if you are a business maps client, you get 4 calls a month. Well, on average, it probably ends up at 3, with vacations and family reunion and things like that. And it costs $1,000 a month. It does work because you're not writing a check every month. It goes off your credit card, but because you're paying a lot of money, you do listen. And if they give you assignments, you do them, because otherwise I might as well just throw money out the window, right? So yeah, it's awesome. We own our second coach now, and the first one we got a little comfortable with, and this one, she's pushing us. When I first met her, I was just like, John, I don't think that's gonna work. Yeah, she comes across as really sweet and innocent. And then you coach with her. She's super nice, don't get me wrong, but she gets the point across. And, now it's every Monday. Oh, I got the coaching call. I got to make sure I'm prepared. Yeah. So yeah, it's great. And family reunion, I hope Mega Camp is going to be in person again in Austin. If you can attend, it's awesome. It's a business trip, tax deductible, super fun. You learn a ton, you meet people. Yeah. So yeah, can only recommend it. I would definitely do it since it's online. Sign up for it and put it in your calendar. So if a client then calls you and says, hey, I'm coming into town, Leslie, I'm thinking February 14th through the 19th, does that work for you? Then you go, no, because I've got a convention from the 15th through the 18th, can you move your date? And you'd be surprised, people go, yeah, sure. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. All right. Okay, let's talk about buyer appointments. Think about past buyer appointments. What did you do in the process that led to success? It's on page 14.
I haven't had a buyer appointment. It's just been showing an open house, and they wanted to see others. So I found some things I needed to do already that I haven't.
Right.
So I'm trying to catch up a little bit.
Well, that's okay. I've been doing it your way for many years. And again, it was struggle all of those years. And now I'm like, okay, let's follow the program. No arguing, let's just follow the program. So yeah, anything where you go that really worked well? I mean, it could be today I'm also doing Zoom buyer appointments, which is pretty cool, right? If it's easier if you meet somebody at an open house because you can build up rapport already. I love belly to belly. I think that's a great way to meet people and build rapport. But if it's somebody who comes in through your website, do a Zoom call. They get to see you, they get to interact. Yeah. Anybody had any buyer appointments where you kind of thought, that didn't work out super well, or didn't get me to the goal of writing an offer contract? Not yet. So what I've learned over the years, if you sit down with them and be very specific about what they are looking for, it helps them, because they only see the homes that are relevant. There's not much on the market today, and I don't want to spend my time driving out for one home and knowing it's not the right one. I've done that, and it's very frustrating for the buyer, and it's also frustrating for you. So the more legwork you do prior, it's tiring. Right.
not like 20 or something. Oh, God.
Yeah, and your buyers weren't in
Yeah,
the
they
car
were
with you.
tired too.
Yeah, they were
The
tired.
last house is like, okay, I can see it on Netflix. I agree there. We talked about it, but okay, this is tiring.
Yeah. So next appointment that you have with another buyer, you go, so Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, it sounds all fun and easy to look at all the different homes, but it does get tiring. So what we'll do is if we schedule more homes in a day, we'll cap it at like 4 or 5, depending on where you're driving, maybe 6 if it's all within a small, right? So that you're not overexhausted. Yeah.
But it's also too much information.
It is.
HOA, whatever, you can kind of process it and.
Yeah.
Oh, they offer everybody forgot the mask in the car, no, the bathroom.
Right. Mask on.
So all these.
Nice question.
Yeah.
So dealing with buyers,
Mhm.
okay, and you get a call, and you want to see
Mhm.
something. Should we be, 'cause I want to make sure they can actually be a buyer, they're just not fishing and want to see what the guy down the street has.
Mhm.
How do you get, or what's a good way to say, are you guys pre-approved for this?
So you just ask for it. I had a past client referred me his neighbor, and we've been texting at first, and then she goes, my husband and I, we do want to see condos now. I didn't know her at all. And we were looking at downtown Sarasota, 600 to 800. I was just like, I don't know her. I go, okay, yeah, sure, I can definitely do that. Linda, do me a favor. Some of the agents will ask that I provide proof of funds or a pre-approval letter prior to showing the condo. This is not uncommon in the luxury market. And she went, oh, okay, yeah, that's not a problem. I can send it over. And she did, And today, I would say with any buyer, although I'm breaking the rules a little right now, I would say, look, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, it's really important that we have all of our ducks in a row with COVID today. Some of the sellers are saying, I just want to show to pre-approved buyers. And the listing agents ask us to provide an approval letter or proof of funds prior to even showing. And then also, I don't want to show you something and then find out it's out of your budget and you keep looking back to that home. I don't want to break your heart. I want to make sure you can comfortably and confidently look at homes and go, I can buy this, I can buy that, and I can actually afford it. So yeah, just ask for it. And that would be something when you do the buyer presentation, that you sit down and, as you are presenting, I've got a presentation here that we do, a PowerPoint. If I need to bring in a lender, I talk to them and say, hey, Jane is coming in. Would you be available? If, yeah. And then I call in the lender. They can do their thing. I step out and we move on. Yeah. So let's see, number 3, do any limiting beliefs keep you from the goal of changing your actions? How can you redirect those beliefs? So for instance, you asking for pre-approval or proof of funds. Just ask for it. Just ask for it. And if they give you pushback, then I would just follow up with, look, in today's COVID world, sellers don't want, there are sellers that don't want any and everybody walk through. And we may need to send that over prior to even showing it. Most people are good with that. And if you totally get pushback, they don't want to do that, there might be a reason for it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so getting the most out of your experience here. Looks like you are all explorers. You participate, you listen, all of the good things that we want for you to learn. And also this is a doing class. We are going to be doing a couple of role plays and stuff. So let's move right along. Okay, so in this next chapter, we are talking about lead generation and the conversion process. So we are taking the first piece out of the pie. Okay, so Gary is saying, to succeed as a real estate professional, I had to learn to generate client leads. When I got into the business, I thought I was here to sell homes. And part of my problem was I didn't want to do the lead generation as they told me to. Pick up the phone and call people, do lots of open houses, be purposeful about open houses. I didn't realize that. So I had to learn that the hard way. And here are all sorts of ways to lead generate. What are your main lead sources? Where do your clients come from?
Open houses,
Mm-hmm.
and then also apartments. So when we first moved down here 5 years ago, we had to get a place and sell ours in Georgia,
Right.
And all this kind of stuff. And what we wanted fell through at the last minute, and we had trucks on the way, etc. Kids getting out of school, and working with a Coldwell Banker gentleman, and he said, "Have you heard of Home Partners?"
Yes,
said,
I remember you
"Never."
telling me.
And so we went through the program, and we really enjoyed it because we knew we could lease for a year, and up to 5, and what those amounts were going to be, or purchase it, and what those amounts were going to be. And I said, we don't really know the neighborhoods that well. We can be there for a year and just go find another one.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually enjoyed it. So we stayed there for 3 years. Mom really knew us and all kinds of stuff. So, and then, so I'm in an apartment now when all this hit because I don't need the big house anymore. So I'm just talking to neighbors in the apartment. They're like, "You're kidding me." Because everybody's in a lot of them are in apartments because they don't think they can have a down payment. So,
right.
And I'm walking through the process and getting them on this program and showing them homes online together at the clubhouse. So,
Is it like a down payment system program or?
no, it's basically you find the house as the realtor, and there's this company, Home Partners, and you find a person who's renting or wants to lease a home for whatever reason can't or doesn't want to buy. Home Partners buys it and at the same time leases it back to them for the amount that is agreed upon.
Is that a rent to own?
Yeah, it's a lease to own, rent to own.
lease to-
Yeah.
And you know what those prices are in every state, 5 years except for Texas, 3. And people are going, "You're kidding me." I said, "No." So you could get in if you don't like the neighborhood. You can call them and say, "Hey, we don't want to do that. We want to do another one in this neighborhood. We love it." I go, "Okay, we'll go buy that one too."
Yeah.
And then they pay you as an agent, right, when they buy it or when
When they buy it.
when
Yeah,
the company
it
buys
kind
it?
of happens all at the same time, signing a lease and then signing the contract to buy. And they have some already in their inventory. There's a lot of agents and firms that are advertising on their site and putting their properties up there because it fits within this $250,000 about $450,000 sales price, which Home Partners has found out that's their comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody goes, "I can't afford it," and we can't get a down payment, I go, "What if I could, it's their criteria, which you have to know in that little training session that lasts about an hour, basically. It's not very difficult. And you sign up on them. Our office is signed up on the Home Partners, the broker is. So it's very easy for me to click a button and they have letters and blogs and advertising
Yeah,
and stuff you put
that's
on your
really
website to keep track of 3 months on. So I'm following that because I'm talking to 5 people about getting out of a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
You're gonna go to the open houses. That's-
Yeah.
I think it's like.
That's really what I have right now.
How many
Right.
how many
Besides
open houses have you done?
them 3 to
You have clients out of there. Nice. But you were just talking that you're never gonna do.
It's a mindset.
It's like, I was very enthused years ago, and I was new, I'm like, oh my God, this is it, this is what I'm gonna talk to people, but most people are trying to, I find two kinds of people. There are the chatty ones, that probably really they can be like loop-de-doos, and they love to chat. And then the other ones like, oh my God, another agent, that's just not to engage at all. Let's just look around. Okay, great, they leave.
So here is how you can change that. And I know for a fact it works. So when I do an open house, I go, okay, I gotta count my signs, get my signs up, get my open house ready. Oh, yeah, I got a book to read. And it's Saturday. It's probably going to be quiet. I'm going to talk to my parents, and off I go, and I set up, and I do all of those things, and then people come in, and I do build rapport, and I walk away with 0 buyers. And I've got one couple that came last Saturday. They don't have an agent. I have not set the appointment yet. I can't reach them. Now, Daria, she goes in and goes, okay, today I'm going to do an open house and I'm going to walk away with the buyer. Because if I don't get a buyer out of this, I wasted 3 hours of my life. And guess what? She walked away with the buyer. I know it works. My friend Mary Michael, who's also in the back office over there, same thing. Every time she does an open house, she walks away with a buyer because she goes, I'm going to get a buyer or a seller out of this. If not, I'm wasting my time. So I need to work on my mindset. So do you. He's got the right
Well, that's
mindset.
what I did. I went to the first one, and it's the same little condo that Scott's got for sale over in Carasea Bay. And there's a little community with a golf course, and it's mostly old and retired.
Is it the one?
Huh?
Was that the one that was Scott?
No, this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Oh, it
But
might be the one up in, was it Palmetto?
yeah, it's a
That's
Palmetto.
one.
I'm familiar with the area. I do a lot of fishing there and all that.
Yeah.
So the first time I said, I've never done one of these. I've been to a bunch of them when I
Yeah.
was looking for houses in the past. So I'm going to see how I do and what I'm doing. It was an experiment. So I did it. It's in there for 1 to 3 or 4, whatever it was. And I didn't have signs, so I had to borrow 5 from Scott and 1 from Susie and all that stuff. Little open house arrows, but I own the front of that club. Okay, so the golfers drive by my son. They
Right.
see him. So that was the first time. All the stuff I did wrong. My signs come in. So now I have 10. Okay, so I explode the front of the club because it's the first left as you come in and it's half a block. But at the front of the club, out on 301. at 4
Yeah, you
o'clock, this was-
gotta do lots of things for sure.
And when I went into I could tell what I was doing wrong just by their reactions from people. So I was writing this down as soon as they left. I was taking their information, putting them on a little database. And the next time I did Saturday and Sunday, I had some people come back. And then I started talking about, I was reading more books and things. And I said, what do you want? What do you really look for? Kind of some were looking for friends and relatives up north that want to come down here. So one of those has turned into somebody that I'm searching for properties for. Then the next day, 3 realtors came in and brought their folks. Well, one of them did a phone thing, and all of a sudden I was on the phone with some guy in New York and trying to explain what the house was. But you kind of get in this mode. You got the mindset, I gotta sell something. I gotta feed it in, or whatever your motivation is, I want the new boat or whatever. And you start to develop your own sense of what's right and wrong.
Right.
But there's all these other guides out there that, like this, what we're doing, that
Yeah.
help me through. And so now I got a couple that wants to buy one, not the one that I was in, but the one upstairs. It's an extra bedroom and just been redone. And we've been through, if you buy this one, you're gonna have to put $40,000 to make it like you want it. And the guy did it upstairs, it comes with an extra room.
Yeah.
He's like, that's it. So I've shown that twice to them. And I'm talking to them because they don't have banks, they don't do this stuff. And I'm taking that. I'm like, well, you're gonna need proof of funds, you're gonna need proof of financing. They're gonna want all these types of things before we say,
Right.
we're gonna offer 210 or 220.
Right.
So,
So yeah, when you do open houses, you've got to go in, I'm gonna get a buyer today. That's the whole purpose of this, either a buyer or a seller. Otherwise, I wasted my time. Does it work every time? No. Daria did 2 open houses, Saturday and Sunday. She got 1 buyer. That's not a bad turnout for 6 hours of work.
Did she do the same house as you did?
No, different properties. So on page 20, I would like for you to write down what are your lead sources that you're currently using or that you think you might want to go after. Mhm. What are your lead sources, your main lead sources?
Mine is, I post a lot in Hungarian groups.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of Hungarians that kind of like starting to recognize that I'm doing this.
Right.
And another one is I'm purposefully extending this sphere of influence, trying to meet with people. As I see somebody, sometimes it's Hungarian, but sometimes not. They do some kind of service, and I'm trying to meet them in person, to build rapport and to kind of extend the circle in different professions and stuff, and that seems working. Open house is the third one, which I had leads, but they never converted to clients. I had some people, yes, I'm interested, I'm an agent, blah, 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 but then it's like kind of faded. And then obviously, probably it's my fault too. Maybe I didn't push hard enough, I didn't call them enough or something. So there was another agent. So I had leads for open houses, but they didn't turn into really anything because yeah, I could see where I was lacking when I started, when I had some good ones, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna push it first, and I'm gonna just call them. Maybe I don't want to call them.
Well, I'm with you. I don't want to be like the totally pushy person. And at the same time, I've learned the money is in the follow-up. Yeah. And now I'm at a point where I'm kind of like, okay, I'm going to push until they say no, go away, right? Yeah, because I don't want to, it's very frustrating if you don't do that, because Leslie is, when she runs into that person, and Leslie's going to talk to them, call, text, email, whatever, she converts them and you didn't because you were too nice, right? Don't be a jerk. But yeah, be purposeful about your follow-up. And if they say no, okay, next.
Set up a follow-up schedule.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
One gentleman, he said, I wish I'd sold my own one, the more expensive one on the water.
Right.
With you, but we're gonna close on April 15th.
Right.
And then we've got to go get our other place sold in North Carolina. I said,
I can help
refer
you.
to a great agent
Right.
there. Oh yeah, but I will. And we just, then we're gonna want to come back and find something smaller here. So I said, I can set something up to just remind you once a month.
Right.
And we'll be back in June, July, and I'll give you a call if that's okay.
Yeah.
And we go, that's perfect. We pulled out calendars and put it in our phones for a June 1st call. Make
it a May 1st or April 15, because I just called somebody. She had told me, call me early 2021 and we'll talk about buying a home. Called her last week and she goes, I just bought a house. So what are your lead sources, Leslie?
Right now what's working for me is my sphere of influence.
Mhm.
I've done open houses without weapon. I feel like I'm missing here, like I don't want to be too pushy. But some other ones.
Is this a girl's mindset kind of? I mean,
I think
know
it
guys are
is.
better.
Yeah.
Guys are
Well,
better at being that firm, but that's it. This
you
is
know
how-
what? Daria converts. So yeah, not necessarily. I think it's something that you just kind of gotta go, well, if they say no, then okay, whatever, right? Britt, Carrie, Travis, do you want to tell us what your lead sources are? Just unmute yourself. No? Okay. So the next question would be, now order your top 4 or 5 lead sources in terms of income they produce for you or that you estimate they might produce. Any ideas? Over the last year, I don't know how many transactions you've had. Okay. So you just kind of project out for this year if you go, okay, so it's the average price point here is, let's call it 350. So I'm going to be purposeful about sitting in open houses in that price range, and I'm going to sell 12 buyers. So what is my income going to be? This is how you would kind of, and then while you look at your income, also look at your expenses. Open houses are fairly inexpensive. You can just do online ads. You've got your signs. You could go out and buy Zillow leads, which are super expensive. And then if you convert to Zillow lead, you would want to deduct how much money you spend for it. And make sure you take advantage of our technology, you know, the app, Command. Command makes it really easy to run ads and everything. And they funnel right into your database so you can follow up with them. And the faster you're on them, the better. Okay, lead conversion. With online leads, it's really the faster you respond, the better. Most of the time, these online leads are off to the next thing within like 3 to 5 minutes. So if a lead comes in, pick up the phone and call them. You know, they don't.
Thanks, I didn't call them.
All no, all I call, I text, I email, and then I set a reminder, either later in the day or next day. Be aggressive. Again, if they tell you no, then you just go, okay, that's fine. I'm just browsing. Well, what are you browsing for? You know, and see if they engage. It's all about getting to them as quickly as possible, because if you don't, somebody else will. Yeah. And you want to get valid and complete information every time. So if somebody calls in, you know, hey, Joe, yeah, hi, this is Juliana. How can I help you, Joe? Oh, I'm looking for 123 Main Street. Okay, great, let me look that up. What was your last name again? And is 12345 your telephone number? You want to get as much as you can, as quickly as you can, so that you can follow up with them. And then always determine the person's motivation to buy. Are they able, ready, and willing? The able is the financing. The ready, what's their motivation? If their lease is ending the end of February, they are motivated, right? And yeah, are they willing to pull the trigger? They might be, you know, financially ready and able, but they may hesitate for one reason or another. That's where the consultation comes in, when you dig deep and find out as much as you can. So as you meet somebody, the goal is not to convert them right on the spot. You want to have them come in for an appointment. Okay. And again, it's super true. It's important to spend your time wisely on the leads that want to act now. You know, I got a lead yesterday. They are thinking about renting in October. So I just put her on a rental trip just so she can see what's out there, and I'll follow up with her. And when they actually come into town, I'm going to sit down with them, you know, with the $1,800 budget. You can get a pretty nice house. If
Where do you get your rental? Because in MLS, I don't find that many.
yeah, it was,
But you can tell them at price point, for the 50 to 400, everything's for sale
yeah,
in this area. I can get a rent.
yeah, that's true. With the program that you've got, yeah,
The home partners,
Yeah.
Everybody goes, I just want to rent, I'm gonna be here. I'm like, why do you want to rent?
yeah,
I can find you a house for $215,000, $400,000 with a comfortable monthly payment.
right,
No, I was up to 2,000. I go, oh man, you're the,
yeah,
that's going to be at this level, around 250 to 300. You're kidding me. Because there was nothing for us to rent when we came here.
right,
I looked at 2 homes in
Yeah.
Salt Lake Range, up to $500,000. And this guy said, let's do home partners. I can show you 10 tomorrow.
right.
But how fast are they closing on it? Like you said they have to buy it, so it's like, okay, but if you have.
They're pretty fast. They're doing it 24 hours a day in their office in Texas. They're a big company.
And
And they
so,
had people that just churning the paperwork and doing everything. We were in right at about 4 weeks.
and that's kind of their time that they need as well.
They have different markets all over the United States, and you have to just go to their website and kind of play around because it walks you through being an agent, being a renter, you know, all the things are on there, and it talks about what their processes are and what the average times are, average prices and all that stuff.
Yeah, so for me with this lady, it was just kind of like, okay, I'm going to put her on a trip and there's going to be more conversation, you know, down the road. But she's, even if it was a buyer saying, I'm going to be moving in October, she's not an A buyer. An A buyer would be somebody that needs to buy within the next 30 days. So you want to, you know, when you do your buyer consultation, you want to see what's your motivation. Are you an A, B, or C buyer? You know, it's okay if you don't want to buy for the next 2 years because of whatever reasons. You know, I just want to make sure that I match my motivation to yours. I don't want to, if you want to buy 2 years down the road, I don't want to show you homes today because they're just not going to, obviously not going to be available and prices are going to be different. You know, but I can go ahead and send you listings, maybe monthly, and you just kind of keep your finger on the market.
So how do you get your leads for rentals?
That was just through the visitor center, somebody who requested relocation information. And we just had signed up with them. I wasn't looking for renters, right? Obviously, I'm looking for people that want to buy. But yeah, a visitor center in Sarasota. Yeah. And really, if you are spending time with buyers that are not able to buy within like the next 30 days, how much does that cost you every day that you go out and spend time with? You know, that goes into a couple of $100 an hour. And you know they can't buy yet, right? If I've done that with a couple that finally closed in November. They've been with me for like 3.5 years, super nice people, became friends, so it's all good. But yeah, every time they came for a visit, we would just spend a couple of hours and looked at a few homes. To me, that was part of building the relationship. But yeah, as you get busier, you need to really be careful with your time. Make sure you prioritize your buyers into A, B, C buyers so that you spend your time with the people that actually do want to buy. Okay, so how do we determine if somebody is able? Let's see. Did I know? Oh, I just missed a couple of pages here. Okay, so the able part is where we bring in our lender. Again, when you do the buyer consultation, at one point you will talk about, financing or cash. If folks need financing, make sure you either call your favorite lender if they don't have anybody, or you bring a lender in just to sit down with them and get them pre-approved. And the way we do that, again, it's either in person and we bring somebody in and say, hey, I've got Mike, Scott, let's just bring him in and have him talk to you for a moment. And again, whole purpose is I don't want to show you something that we thought you can have, but really you can't. That'll be heartbreaking. I want to make sure you are totally confident that you can make an offer on the home that you fall in love with. And then also, if they are fully pre-approved with everything being already in underwriting, you then as the buyer's agent can tell the listing agent, yes, this is contingent upon financing, but it has gone through underwriting. Basically, we're just looking for the home. So that might give you the edge over somebody else.
I find that California is very good at that because they do more than others to be approved.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if they don't work in the challenge, then probably they're gonna fall out somewhere in the other system.
Yeah, we personally are trying out Keller Mortgage, and made me realize there is a lot of paperwork involved when you apply for a mortgage. So that was really helpful to me when I talk to my buyers, and they kind of go, well, yeah, I checked my credit score and Credit Karma, and I used like mortgage calculators and estimators, and it says I can do X. Yeah, and you still need to drop it all in with a lender to make sure we are not missing anything, right? Because people tend to forget, oh gosh, yeah, there's this student loan, didn't take that into consideration. So there are things that, could pop up, and the more solid your buyer is, the easier it is to find them a home. Yeah.
This particular one, we tried Keller, and the Keller told them that we need an extra year of tax income.
Yeah.
And Bank of America gave them the pre-approval. I said, okay, we're gonna go with Bank of America, and sure enough, they came, they said, oh, we cannot do this because we don't have enough. And we said the exact same thing as Keller did.
Yeah.
We need one more, but Bank of America didn't want to waste their time to
Right.
work on that, so they're like, okay, we're gonna do it at all.
Right. So that's a
So-
really good conversation with future buyers to be had. And it, just kind of going when they go, oh yeah, I talked to BFA or I talked to Wells Fargo, just kind of go, okay, so other clients have this, experienced this. And then, this would mean you're under contract. You paid for the inspection, 4-point wind mitigation, for the appraisal. And then it turns out this or that pops up and you don't qualify. So that's a really good conversation. And I would tell this type of a story when you talk to buyers about getting pre-approved.
I think it's happening in February, because it will be in October or something.
Right.
And it's like we have to just drop out. because of
Right.
climate.
Then they would just have to wait. And that saves you time and them time, because you're not out showing homes and then realizing we can't. So, and then when you work with the lender, tell them how you want to communicate with them, or have them communicate with you. You tell them, hey, if we want to make this a really good working relationship, let's go ahead and you tell me once a week where the file is. I need communication. Give me a call or email me. I need to know what's going on. So you tell the lender, you're not at their grace. You just tell them, this is what I want to do. You also want to make sure that you talk to your buyers about sort of unexpected events. Life can happen, right? Could be job change, divorce, marriage, anything. Yeah, any kind of a life change that could rock the mortgage that they are applying for. Just kind of say, hey, if something happens, something unforeseen, whatever that might be, you need to immediately let me know and your lender know, because that could cancel out everything. And then once they finally get their final loan commitment or final loan approval, that's here on this page. So they got the clear to close, and closing is supposed to be 2 days later, 3 days later. You want to make sure you tell, I usually tell my clients when I sit down with them, once we get under contract, do not go out, buy a new car, do not go out, order furniture, don't do anything that could rock your loan process, because that can kill a deal. I've seen it. And it's funny, it's not only new folks that might do it. I've had people that were on their 5th home, and then the week before they were at, I don't know, Rooms to Go, this great sale, and they bought this living room set. And then everything gets delayed. So, and then also if something happens, as is contract, you do the inspection comes up, needs a new roof, the sellers don't want to put it on, the buyers say I can buy it with that. Let everybody know right away, because you want to avoid that the lender orders the appraisal, which is $400, $500, $600 that your buyer needs to pay for. So the moment you get a cancellation for whatever reason, make sure everybody knows and they stop everything. Yes, they do. They don't have to, right, yeah. But with any of the other lenders, that's not the case, you pay for it. Yeah, you as the buyer. All right, so this is our 4-step lead conversion process. We capture leads, we connect with them, and we either immediately close them to an appointment if they are ready to sit down, or we cultivate them. That's, when you meet somebody at an open house or something, and they're not quite ready to commit, then you just cultivate and, stay in touch. Okay, so the capture process. Your capturing should always focus on getting enough information from someone so you can stay in touch and connect with them. If you do online ads through Facebook, it's set up in such a way that they grab the initial sign-up information from Facebook. So if somebody signed up in 2009, the telephone number that's registered might not be the correct one anymore, which is a bummer. But this is how you would capture the initial information. You always want to make sure you get, the correct phone number, the correct email. If somebody calls in, just ask for it, or comes into an open house. With open houses, I'm telling people now, I need you to sign in because of COVID. It works, right? Because of COVID, if, I need to be able to reach everybody if I get a call from another visitor saying, and people do.
That's interesting that you say that it's a mindset, because if I ask them to do that, which I'm focused more on rapport than signing immediately, but probably I'm gonna go back now. And if I get some resistance, and even if I'm saying, okay, this is COVID, we have to sign it, and if I get resistance, I back out immediately. Like, oh my God, I'm not gonna say that, and yeah, you sign it. So how do you deal with that? If someone says, no, I don't want to sign it.
So I know of an agent who just kicked the people out. He goes, okay, I'm sorry, then I can't have you here. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, really, like, why would you be nice if you did like that?
If you go to a home builder, they don't let you tour homes without signing in. You can't get past the sales office. You go in one door, there they are, and then you go, the other door out and into the front door of the model. So at home builders, you sign in too. And again, if you just go in with mindset, everybody will sign in today. I'm going to ask for it. And yeah, everybody will sign in. And if you can't read it, then, you know, you accomplished the goal. Everybody signed in. And everybody will sign in, period. So when you talk to somebody on the phone, I usually follow up with an email and a text, or if I leave a message. You want to find out when you talk to people, what's your favorite mode of communication? Just because you like to text, that person that might not work for him or her because they are working a job or driving a lot and can't respond to text, phone is better. That's really important to ask them. So then on page 29, do we want to do a quick break? Maybe? How are we doing time-wise? Yeah. 10-minute break? Yeah. Okay.
I just tell them when they come in, I said, the owner has requested
Yeah.
that you get all your information.
Yeah.
And I went and-
But we do that as they walk in, like right
Oh,
away.
Yeah.
And it's wherever my little book is, and our sign-in sheet is right there, and there's
Yeah.
some candy and water.
And you don't get my paperwork if you don't sign in?
And someone said, oh, we don't want to do that. And I go, well, I need it. I pick up the book and I said, if you could just give me your name. And I'm now like right next to you.
But often I find that even when I used to ask for it, some people make up some phone number.
Because a lot of it is.
Yeah, they are
You know,
fake.
The guy down the street
emails.
You
just
are.
wants to see.
You
that.
asked. That's the main,
Yeah.
yeah. Just go in with the mindset. Everybody who comes to my open house today will sign in. I'm gonna walk away with the buyer.
But I also like the open house, even if I don't capture anybody right there, because it gives me publicity. They see my name around the neighborhood with the
Sure.
signs. I have a right to advertise the open house. You know, a lot of people, they don't think that those are not my listings, although when they click on the link, they see that it's a courtesy of
Right.
whoever, they don't read that. So they think like, oh my God, look at that. She's selling this and that. That's her again. What's going on here? So that kind of, they recognize my name.
Yeah.
Right?
And I do agree with that. And I would say still make it worthwhile. Then
Yeah, of
you've got two
Yeah.
prongs. You've got your marketing that's out and you just picked up a buyer.
Yeah, exactly.
Your marketing that you've got out, your signs, your ads are paid for because you got a buy out of it. Yeah. I tell you, it's mindset. When last weekend when I talked to Daria and she was like, yeah, walked away with the buy. I'm just like,
Is that the house that I need to file open the file of 450?
no, she was somewhere else.
Okay.
And yeah. And I walked in kind of thinking, oh, it's probably going to be quiet. It's a Saturday.
Yeah, that's what I always do. I'm gonna bring my contracts, I'm gonna read, the pages, then study a little bit while I'm here, post some things on Facebook, on my group, whatever. So that's how I.
That's what I'm doing too. And that's why we are not converting. I promise. I promise. And I wouldn't say that if I didn't know of two examples of two agents that are going in with a different mindset and they are always walking out. And when I first talked to Mary Michael, she was just like looking at me, what do you mean? You don't go in there expecting you are getting a buyer. I was like, no.
And I wonder if my conversations are, like maybe my strategy on conversations when they walk in isn't up to par to be able to pick up something.
Like too nice, too nice, like just chatty conversation, not really say to the point, because I heard Marina Solo, when she does an open house in her house, she's like, everybody walks in and says, so, are you pre-approved? Can you buy this house? Is it okay? She's like, totally straight pushing there, right there. She's not like, oh yeah, how are you today?
I know.
So what I use when people are coming in, I'm not like Marina. Look at her numbers though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right. I use a script that's called LP Mama.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you weave through that, you get a lot of information and you can then follow up with an appointment. It's called LP Mama. I've got a copy in the office. Happy to share it. It's just like location,
Oh, the talking point.
the talking points, right? And so that's a really good one to use because you don't want to talk about, you know, the weather, the whatever. Bring maybe comms for the home or other homes that are available. And actually, if you get somebody at the open house, Ben Kinney would always go, why don't we, so my open house ends at 4, I need to pick up the signs. Why don't we meet at 4:30 at Panera down the street and just chat about what you're looking for? See if you can get them right into an appointment.
And then the appointment, you have a contract or whatever, what do you just?
Yeah, you bring everything completely prepared to set an appointment and to do a, you know, sort of come to buyer presentation right then and there. How would that change your world? Right, and then even if you get only one appointment a month, that would be your 12 sales. So again, it comes back to mindset. You just,
I have right now, the context with buyers, beachfront property. And I saw that, I went into that mindset where, oh my God, I'm like in the higher end now, I'm working, showing houses, like, you know, as my very first client. And it was totally not my mindset, you know, it's like I'm not at level, I wouldn't afford it, I just for my weekends to have a condo or whatever, pay cash for it. It's like, and I went there and so nervous, like, you know, that mindset when you don't belong to that luxury market
Right.
yet, and like, I have to start low, like in like 150,000, 200,000 condos, and then maybe work my way up, you know.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, the nervousness, I didn't ask how many homes I'm going to say, oh, what's going to happen? And so it's totally like all the things in my mind. I hope it didn't show on the surface. I tried to, you know, not to show anything. I counted it, but in my head, it was like very, very much like.
I totally get that. And I kind of feel that might be our European upbringing. I don't know. And it took me years to get over that too. John always says they also, when they put on their pants, they put in one leg and then the other. Nothing different than we do, right? So I'm just going to pass this around. This is my lead sheet. So if a call comes in, we do have these handy, and this is what I work off to get, you know, as much initial information as I can, and then, you know, go and schedule the appointment. So when you meet somebody in person, I think this is something that we all naturally do. We should focus on mirror and matching, trying to see how, you know, if somebody is like this, you don't want to do it exactly, but, you know, maybe cross your arms. You do want to mirror and match them because that makes them feel connected to you. The way they communicate. Somebody has a New York accent, don't mimic that because that, you know. But if they are speaking slow or if they are speaking fast, you sort of want to match that so that they feel, oh yeah, we get along, right? You want to provide value. So when you do an open house, you want to be able to talk about the neighborhood, about the house, about the neighborhood. You know, just show that you have something of value to give to them. And you want to ask questions because the one that asks questions wins. And all of this is meant to really go for the appointment. So with the mirror and matching, you are looking at body language, their speed patterns, rhythm and rate, their volume, tonality. If you want to repeat words that they use frequently, if they're cussing, I would probably not do that. But, you know, that all helps to create trust between you and whoever you've got.
Interesting about the words repeating. I think there is so many things to be conscious about. I'm so far conscious about the body language and kind of trying to match their speed of speaking. How they that's how far I got because it's so many things.
Right, it's so many things, yeah.
And with that, they said that they did a test on waitresses. That they asked them to one group. They asked them as to positive affirmation that say that is great, yeah, good choice, and what a great day, so they compliments and positive affirmation. And the other group just repeated the order back, exactly as they said it. And the one who repeated it back gets 70% more tips than the one that did positive affirmation.
That's interesting, right?
I know, just the exact same words.
Because if you repeat, you know, your person on the phone says, yeah, I'm looking for, you know, open floor plan because I want to be able to see my kids play or I entertain a lot. You know, okay, so we're looking for something with an open floor plan. So that's great for entertaining. They want to make sure you are paying attention and not, you know, doing something else. There's different communication styles. If you go to page 30, there is I guess, a diagram. And what is your communication style if you're looking at it? Which one or two do you fall into?
I'm sociable in most and structured.
Okay. How about you, Brad? Okay. Leslie?
Sociable and steady.
Okay. I'd say I'm assertive and sociable. I'm a high D on the DISC profile. And yeah, when I was looking at this last night, I was kind of like, okay, let's see oh, yeah, that's me. I'm not structured. And I have to really focus when I need to listen intently. So yeah, that's interesting. Let's see here. Page 31, it gives you a couple of examples. So if you've got somebody that is assertive, that person takes control of the conversation, decides quickly, is not interested in details. And what you do is you want to acknowledge that and just kind of be aware. Don't bring out spreadsheets of information and data. That's not what we want to hear. I want bullet points. Let's get to the point and go. So it gives these pointers here give you a really good idea how you can work with different people and being aware what your strengths are and being able to recognize what the other person is really important in your business. Because again, it's about connecting with people. And if you've got somebody who just wants bullet points and you bring the spreadsheets, they will not come back. I know that for a fact. I had, before I got licensed, when we sold our California house, we had two women come in and they brought spreadsheets. It was a 3-hour presentation. I almost fell over. Well, we didn't hire them, right?
But I don't like that either. So some people like it, really like it.
Some people are all, if you notice, and I have learning to do to recognize these communication styles. John is really good with that. He can totally say, okay, that person likes this, that person, I don't have that. I need to work on that. And it makes a huge difference. If you've got somebody who wants all this detail, right? You want to be able to provide that because this is how they make decisions. yeah, it's really interesting. All right, so here we've got 4 bubbles, and Leslie, why don't you read the first one, and then you guys can tell me what kind of a communication style she has.
I've been researching over the neighborhoods I'm interested in and what they're going for. Not convinced that this property is overpriced.
What you think is very good.
Right, you're right.
Yep. Yeah. Do you want to do the next one?
We don't want the stress of having to move away from every time. We want to take our time finding the home so we can go with our home for years to come. Okay.
Very good. Brett, do you want to do the next one?
It was so nice to meet you and your staff. We just love the neighborhood. What else have you worked with that purchased in this area? How do you know how long a house has been on the market? How are the closing costs factored in? I need to see a breakdown before I make a decision. Well structured?
Yeah, actually they are saying here social and structured.
Yeah.
So when you have somebody talking about love and, you know, colorful, that's usually that's a high I or a sociable person. All right, and the last one is, what do I need to do to get this property? Because I want to purchase right away. What is the asking price? What is it going to cost me? Yeah. Mhm. So if you learn how to recognize those, you can cater to them and better connect with them. All right, so now it's your turn. It is, right. So why don't you just read customer 1, and then how would you communicate with this customer? You can write it down, or if you just want to speak out loud, just what comes to mind, we can do it either way. Want to try?
Because 2 of them are really strange.
Yeah, and which ones are you referring to as a sort of?
The first, second, and the 4, they're all like straight forward. Reference one, that one has to do quick decision.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is about to need to see more, just get it done.
Well, and you know, that I agree, it does come across as the primary trait. So, any other thoughts, comments?
My customer 1 for me is, you know, they want testimonials from
Mhm.
buyers, and I said, I'm happy to provide it. What's your contact info?
There you go.
And then how do you get testimonial? And then you didn't know what you do.
Well, I have.
Like from previous job, right? Or,
So but I turned that into, I mean, I've called those people that wrote great testimonials for me. So
Right.
if I was a realtor, how would you phrase it?
Yeah, and people do that for you,
And it's
right?
like,
Even
oh,
if today's your first day in the business, you know, go back to a past life and ask for them.
but then I'll build upon those as I sell.
Yeah.
List them or whatever,
Right.
because this doesn't have anything to do and actually done some of these things. But
Right.
I don't want to come across like, hey, I'm brand new.
Right. Exactly. No, we
Right.
never say that.
Can you take a look and see what you wrote on LinkedIn 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, this is how I do.
Yeah. What about you, Leslie? You were just
I kind of wrote down the response to what I would say in terms of that conversation. But, wow, that's great. You've done the research. I'm happy to provide testimony where you get together to discuss exactly what you're looking for and I'll bring my testimonials along.
perfect. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly, you know. And when I go for the appointment, I never go for a hard close because people tend to go, if I kind of feel they are a little standoffish or not quite as open as I'd like to, instead of saying, why don't you come to my office? Let's meet at my office and, you know, we'll talk about everything in more detail. You know, why don't we meet after my open house or at a coffee shop and go over your needs? So, yeah. All right. Exceed expectations on page 34. And I'm not going to go through all the examples because I think we are running a little over. Let's see here. So exceeding expectations, when you show homes, you know, and your client asks, so, you know, what can you tell me about the house? Can you, how big is it? You could go, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, 2,200 square feet. That's just kind of the expected answer. You could then follow up with a little more and say, this is actually one of the larger lots and it's got beautiful water view. Or exceed their expectations and go, in case you're interested, you know, not only to look at this as your home, but also as a future investment, homes in this neighborhood are appreciating greatly, and this will be a solid investment for you. Because most people don't think of their home as an investment, yet it is. So if you go just a tad over what everybody would expect, you set yourself apart from others. And always, when you are with clients, your focus is not to sell. You just want to provide valuable information and help them make decisions and secure appointments. Can you think of any ways that you've exceeded somebody's expectations during, you know, any kind of a conversation or meeting?
well, I always point out the HOA, what's included to make sure they are, you know, that this is higher, but let's say there's kibble in it, and you know, whatever is included, so it's good, especially in Lakewood Ranch. I always compare CDD fees and HOAs to make sure that it's like they see that, okay, the CDD, but the HOA is lower. So there's kind of that. Also, if it's a lower price point, I find out what's the rental potential, long-term and vacation, what are the rules, like 1 month, 3 months, whatever the association rules about the rentals. And the comps, what was sold recently or what is selling, if it's a building or something to talk about.
Yeah, that's great. And that type of information does set you apart, and you're not just the door opener. Okay, so 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. You know, the more information you can provide is a service to them because they don't have to go and track it down and look it up. And they may still do that, but you just gave it to them all at the same time. And then you always want to provide extra value with our mobile app, market analysis, link to neighborhood blogs. I usually set people up on our monthly snapshot, neighborhood snapshot for a neighborhood they live in or that they are interested in. The next page, 35, is giving you an example of a lead sheet. And again, this is all prior to setting the appointment. Somebody calls in, or maybe at an open house or at an event where you change phone numbers, you know, and then follow up with a phone call. The more information you can get, the better the chances of setting the appointment. Okay. And there's different lead sheets out. For me, it's gotta be, I don't necessarily go step by step by step by step. I might be jumping around, right, from the first line, depending on where the conversation goes. I got to be able to easily read it because I'm talking to somebody on the phone, I'm taking notes, and I need to listen and get ready for the next question. So bigger print, spaced out is always easier than having everything really just on one page. I did show you what we use, and there's always a lot of scribbling going on, but whatever works, just make sure you get as much information as you can, because if you get somebody who's just not qualified to buy for whatever reason, or doesn't want to buy, you know, you want to know that up front. Okay, on page 37, where are we here? 35, 37. So Gary says your lead sheet is the most effective tool you have to gather essential information about your buyer. You can find out who they are, what they need or want to do, what do they want to or need to be, why do they want or need to do it, and when do they want or need to do it by. So getting all of those answered really helps you when you meet them at the appointment, because you can totally speak to their needs, wants and needs. And then we've got the close on page 38. And closing is always you close for the appointment. And you want to close more than once. If somebody says, no, I don't want to meet you, I can't meet you, I don't want to meet you, you know, as the conversation goes on, ask again, ask again, ask again. Top agents ask up to 5 times to get the appointment, and it's just the appointment. It's not, you're not committing to buy a home with me. It's just to get to know each other. Let me know what you're looking for. Yeah. All right, why don't we do a couple of role play calls? Leslie, do you want to read the bold script? Hi, this is Anya with Keller Williams Realty. I'm responding to your request for information on the property at 123 Main Street. Thank you so much for the inquiry.
Yes, I'm interested in the house on 123 Main Street. Can you tell me more?
Absolutely. What specifically caught your eye?
The photos of the open kitchen.
Okay, yeah, that's a great feature. That home is still available, and there are actually several others in the neighborhood like that. I would love the opportunity to meet with you and go over them. We love those.
Yeah.
So could you come to my office tomorrow at 3 or Thursday at 5?
Yes, Thursday.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to ask a few more questions about your search. This will help me get prepared for our appointment tomorrow, Thursday at 5. This would be golden. And then I'm going to ask more information. You just grab your lead sheet and go over those questions. And then one thing I would definitely add, You want to find out if there are other decision makers. Are you the only one buying the house, Leslie? Oh no, it's me and my significant other. Okay, is your significant other, what's his name, her name? Get the name, is going to be available as well to meet at the appointment, because there's no need, Dr. One, only to find out that is really the decision maker. And what she said is not what he wants. So, yeah. All right, so the next one, do you want to role play that with me? Hi, it's a great day at Keller Williams. How can I help you?
I am calling about the house on 123 Main Street. How much does it cost?
Excellent. We've gotten a lot of calls on this property. It's a really hot one. By the way, I'm Anya. Who am I speaking with? You would tell me.
Huh?
You would tell me, so I would
Oh, yeah.
put in the name.
Red line, 123.
Yeah. And I'm going to put you on hold for just a moment while I access the information about the property. May I have your phone number just in case we get disconnected? I love that. I think that's super easy, gives you time to pull up the information about the home so that you don't feel, oh my God, I gotta recite it all by memory. And at the same time, now you've got the name and you've got the number. Okay, that property is listed for 450. Is that in your price range?
Yes.
Perfect. That's a great area. Is that the house, the neighborhood you're interested in?
Yeah, it's centrally located, close to shops and great schools.
Perfect. Yeah, excellent. I'd love to meet you to review this property and similar ones that are also available in the same area. Are you available tomorrow at 3 or would Wednesday at 5 work better?
Yeah, Wednesday works fine.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to ask a few more questions. This will help me to prepare and have the information that you need when we meet on Wednesday.
Great, thank you.
And then you want to make sure that you verify email. And I would actually, after you said it's in a great central location, great schools, repeat what he said. That is going to tell him how she actually listened. And hopefully you retain or write it down so that when you meet on Wednesday, you don't go, why did you want to move into that area? So yeah. And then after you set the appointment, I would follow up with an email. I'm going to follow up with an email, has all of my contact information, location where we meet and time, and I'll reach out and confirm just prior. Because you don't want to end up preparing for the appointment and then he or she doesn't have the address, or, you know, you definitely want to go ahead and reconfirm. Always also when calls come in, you want to check, are you working with another agent, right?
Yes.
Okay, and have you signed a buyer's agreement with the agent?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I would like to change.
Okay, perfect. So here's,
I'm adding to.
right, so here is how I would address that. Because you never know who the other caller is. So, okay, I totally understand. It sounds like something went wrong. Here would be my recommendation. I would recommend that you talk to your agent and go, Juliana, that was the perfect home. We didn't get in as quickly as I expected. Whatever the reason might be, address it with the agent and see if they can correct it. And if they don't, ask them to cancel the agreement with you. I'm happy to help you then. I'm always, you know, it could be just something that we missed. And I would rather be told, hey, that was the one and you didn't get me in because you didn't have time, you know, get another opportunity. I think that comes around tenfold if you keep yourself to a high level, you know, rather than going, great, come on into the office and let's go. Yeah, that's kind of me. There's possibly others that don't do that, but this is my standard. Yeah, and if the person answers, yes, I am, I am working with an agent, then I would say, great, you know what you should do is actually call your agent and they will show you the home because you don't want to spend the time. If it's your listing and he or she says, yes, I'm working with Jane and Jane's not available, I love your listing, can you show it to me? We do show it because we do want to make the sale. And then we call Jane and go, hey, Joe was here, looked at the house.
And then you may find out more information about
Right.
the client.
Right. And if, at an open house, I always ask, are you working with an agent? If the answer is yes, okay, great. You know what? Here's my card. If it doesn't work out, I'm happy to be your number two. That's,
And how to say that, if you have anything great, if you're ever changing your mind, here's my card, that's
Mhm. And if they toss my card, so be it.
But, and, you don't need them signing it that way, or?
No. Well, I mean, yes, they sign into my open house form, whatever form I use. You've seen these clipboards. I think you've done one of ours too. So if they check off, yeah, I'm working with, I usually ask, who are you working with? Oh, Jane Doe. Okay, great. I'm going to follow up with Jane, Mm. Yeah, to get some, it depends. If that house, if they walk to the lanai and go, oh, there's no room for a pool, I don't need to call Jane. Because I know that's a deal breaker. Yeah, but if there is, if I kind of feel they seem to be interested, yeah, I do. Hey,
Or
Jane.
maybe I just need the information to the listing agent.
Right. If we are the listing agent, yeah. I would do the same thing if I'm holding somebody else's house open. And somebody like that came in, I'd go, hey, Leslie, I had Jane come in. She's working with Tina. Call Tina. Yeah.
I actually haven't done one for your team.
You
But I've
have?
heard about your checklist.
Yeah. So we've got. For some reason, I thought you did. Yeah. So that's what we do. It's it's a bit more detailed. Again, you try to find out as much as possible, and they give you feedback for the house. How do you feel it's priced, location, likes, dislikes, and then that way when we call our seller, it's not coming from us, it's coming from them. Yeah. Okay. So objections on page 41. I think. Yes. So this in today's world a little tricky. We need to sell before we make a purchase. So you could say, has anybody provided you with a market analysis for your home? If the answer is no, great. I'd love to do that for you, and that way where your value is. If they say, oh yeah, we had one done, 3 months ago, still offer another one because we know the market has changed over the last 3 months, and see if you can again get the appointment to come in for listing appointment and at the same time sign them up as buyers. And today it's a little tricky for sellers because there's so little inventory. They need to sell first to buy the next home and don't have a place to go between. But that can all be worked out, so don't let that stop you. Okay. Here are a couple of more scripts and tactics to secure the appointment. I'm gonna skip these and not go over them one by one. You might definitely want to read them. Okay, objection handlers on page 44. What objection handlers have you heard when you are talking to buyers? Yeah, and how do you respond to that?
I don't think I responded well, so somebody who can respond this.
Well, usually what I do with those is, okay, so what are you looking for? Because most people don't come to open houses. They might be looking at homes online, but spending actually a beautiful Sunday afternoon where you could go to the beach and trek from house to house to house just to be looking. There is a motivation, and it might not be, I need to buy in 30 days, but they may be thinking, we get married this summer. I just kind of want to see what's out there. So if you ask questions, you might discover what's behind this. I'm just looking. What other motivations have you heard?
Oh, objection, it's like, it's just very outdated.
Right.
I'm gonna have to put a lot of money into this,
Right.
you know.
If you think about objections to, Brett, why don't you and I sit down and go over your wants and needs? And I'm available Wednesday at 3 or Thursday at 5. What time would work for you? And actually, if you do that at an open house in particular, rather than going, are you available Wednesday or Thursday? Go, I'm available Wednesday at 3 or Thursday at 5. What time would be available for you? What time would be best for you? And you look down to write down that people tend to react to that differently than going, so okay, I'm available Wednesday or Thursday, what's best for you? They feel more the push. If you look away, you give them sort of room to breathe. Yeah. So objections when it comes to asking for the appointment or getting to meet with you, what have you heard? So if somebody tells you at an open house, this is too outdated, needs too much money, you could then go, okay, sounds like you're looking for something move-in ready. Why don't we meet at my office on or after the open house? Down there's a Starbucks. I can meet you there at 4:30, and then we'll go over, right? And then I go, oh, I don't, I'm not ready yet. Yeah, people saying no to that. Those are the kind of objections they are looking for. And if you can dismantle, like I'm just looking, that's great. Let's just, why don't we go ahead and just meet, just a half an hour or something, just to get to know each other, and then that way I can just send you listings you're looking for. Wednesday at 3 or Thursday at 5. And then you might get, oh, I'm working, or I don't want to come into the office because of COVID. Okay, totally understand. I can go ahead and set us up for a Zoom call, and we'll do it virtually. It's Wednesday at 3 good or Thursday at 5. Those are the kind of objection handlers they are, or objections that they are looking for here. And it just gives you the opportunity to learn more. If somebody gives you an objection, it's not a no. They just want to have another question answered. Okay.
Because you think about yourself. Well, man, if somebody got put in the spot, I'm totally happy. Okay. I don't want to be rude, but
If you like the person, if you trust the person, they are going to go, oh, okay. Because again, nobody does that. Or 99% of the agents don't do that.
and now that reminded me that
Right? That's okay. That's okay. Now you know, and give it a try.
and that's we're talking about it. It just came to me from the wireless. So like those things when I was I don't know 18, 17, 19. I did this job that I was insurance agent in Hungary. And this was terrible, and that created such a negative beliefs. And then you said that this setting up appointment, that just came to my mind, and oh my God, and they were, like, Eastern European, they were rude, they were mean. And I was 18, I didn't even understand the product. I mean, selling insurance, I didn't even have any. And they didn't do a good job to teach me. They were all focusing on the money and how much money you can make, and that's very intriguing. But I didn't have a clue what I was doing.
So he, yeah.
Really, the negative experience that is stuck in my mind, and I have to overcome it.
This might help you. So, when I got into the business, my mentor was saying I was also volunteering at the Humane Society. And he goes, Anya, when you go there, you need to wear like your little realtor pin or some branded real estate kind of a t-shirt. I was like, no, I don't want to mix my business with my volunteer work. And stuck to that for years. And then somebody said, so how would you feel? So you are volunteering with Nancy, you've been with her for years, became great friends. And Nancy buys a home and gets an agent that totally sucked. And Nancy tells you after closing, God, I had this horrible experience with Jane Doe. Awful. The reason why you want to meet with them and have an appointment because you know you're going to do the best job ever to make it a great experience, to get them what they want when they want it. And by setting the appointment, you make sure that they don't end up with Jane Doe that is going to do really poorly and things will go wrong with Jane. So you are saving them from a bad experience. That's why you want to set the appointment. If you use that sort of mind trick on you, it helps you to ask for the appointment if you are reluctant. So that was huge once I got that. That's why you want to meet people. That's why you want to help them. Because they could run into an agent and have a horrible experience. Yeah, and it took me years to get that. So, so Tony DiCello, Vice President of KW Maps Coaching, said, objection handling is one of the very best ways for you to demonstrate your expertise in a business winning way. Every time you handle an objection, ask for a close. It really works. And yeah, truth. Okay, so there is the AEIOU technique for handling objections. You ask lots of questions. Can you tell me more about it? What do you mean? What is important about that? You emphasize if they say, we really need a big yard. We've got kids, we've got dogs, room to play. Totally understand that. Yeah, I can see where that is important. And identify the real issue. That is sometimes more difficult to come by, but the more questions you ask, the more they will tell you. And once you realize what the issue is, for instance, they need to have a big yard fenced in for kids and dogs, because today they're living in an apartment and they have to walk the dogs instead of just letting them out. And they got to make sure the dogs can't run away. So once you identify what they are looking for, that is part of your building rapport. You offer solutions. This house is not updated enough. Well, if you painted the cabinets, put on handles, you get a totally different look as you are showing homes, just kind of helping them see past what they think are issues that they can't get past. And you always want to use tie downs. Don't you agree? Are you comfortable with that? Once you find the right property and it is the right one, you want to ask these type of questions where they go, yes, 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 Yes. All right, it sounds like this is the right home for you. Do you want to make an offer on this home? And the right answer would be yes, because you kind of let them down. Obviously, you know, it's got the space, it's got the this is where the piano can go. Your dogs can run, but they can't get away. We've seen X, Y, and Z. This seems to tick all the boxes, right? Yes. Do you want to make an offer on it? Yes. In the same way, going for the appointment. Okay, we've got a few scripts here on page 46. A buyer wants to look on his own. I've been looking at houses on my own. I really don't need to work with a realtor. That's an objection we've had, especially in today's world. Everything's online, right? So here would be a response you could offer. I understand, here are a few things to consider. It can be a very time-consuming process, and many of the homes you see listed in advertisement and on websites are already sold or under contract. Some properties are not advertised at all. Those are what we call pocket listings. Well, we don't have those here, are not allowed, so I would scratch that. There are more properties listed for this area. With my access to the multiple listing service and my real estate contacts, I can search them all for you and show you the best ones. For example, would you be interested in getting a no discounts today, scrap that. But yeah, you would show speed. I can set up a specific search for you and really tailor what you're looking for and only send you those homes. So that's going to save you time, right? And I know the neighborhoods really well. I know which price points they are. And if you tell me I'm looking for X, Y, and Z, I can direct you right to it. Yeah, they believe on internet searches. I found a lot of homes online that I'm interested in. I don't really need anyone to help me search. And the reality is that many times homes are advertised and they are no longer available, especially in today's market. So buyers in a lease, I can't make a purchase until my lease is up. Well, we would always say, if we found the right home today, could you break your lease? If we find the perfect home, that might be the way to go. You know, and it doesn't work for everybody, but you know, you never know. And if the answer is no, I can't break it, I don't want to break it, I don't want to lose money, fine. Why don't your lease is up in October? Why don't we make an appointment now, get to know each other, and when May, June comes around, we'll reconvene, look where we are at, and that's when we start our home search. Again, you do want to bring them in, even if it's a year out, you want to meet in person, especially if it's somebody who just came in. We're not in a buyer's market, so don't worry about being in a lease in a buyer's market. And then also buyers seem to think that they have to pay for our services, which, yeah, some buyers do. What if the buyer still doesn't want to meet? If it's like somebody is in a lease and lease doesn't end until October, I would say, why don't we stay in touch? I'm going to just reach out maybe monthly and we'll chat and see if anything has changed. And when you are ready, I'm ready. So then we'll get together in the summer. Yeah. And if it's a firm no, I had somebody come in really interested in that house. I was so excited. And they only want to work with the listing agent directly. It didn't work out after all, and it was not the phone issue. It was the HOA. And she told me right when she came to my open house, we only work with listing agents. And I did call and email her saying, hey, this is why you would want to work with a buyer's agent. She didn't respond. So I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm not going to spend my time chasing her next. So sometimes if you just feel total pushback, just go next, you know, and if you got a good rapport and you're chatting with them, always ask for a referral. You might be surprised because once people start looking, it's just like, I'm going to buy a new car. I want to buy a Honda, whatever. All of a sudden I see nothing but Hondas. Same thing with real estate. I know that because I'm working with the buyer and he told me, oh yeah, friends bought here. Other friends are looking. I'm just like, shame on me. I didn't ask for referrals. Okay, so here is some role play. I think I'm going to skip that for time reasons. Use these scripts that we just read. I would put them in a binder, maybe rewrite them in bigger print and have them ready when you are talking to someone. Just so it makes it easier to just read over it and follow along. And then on page 49, you've got a copy of the buyer lead sheet, and then on the next page, your call log. Bye.
Is this, I forgot to ask earlier, online someplace where we can access this as well? Or is it just a handout?
They
Like
sent,
a link at the-
yeah, I'm sure you can get a link, yeah, of all the classes. They sent me initially the link, and then I did ask for the paper version because it's a lot easier for me. So if you have leads that are a year, 2 year, 5 years out, you know, again, you want to get all the contact information, then just put them on a 8x8 and then on a 33 touch. You do want to touch them regularly. Life changes, life happens. They might go, you know, yeah, we meant to happen to us. My buyers had like a 10-year plan to move here full time. They just have an investment property. And then when we met them last fall for dinner, they were like, yeah, with COVID and everything, we just changed our plan. It's going to be 2 years when we are moving here. So yeah, things happen and you do want to be top of mind. And then also they might send you referrals. Yeah, so always kind of, there is a pipeline tool where you can put in Jane Doe contact information, and Jane wants to buy this month, so she would be a 10. Susie wants to buy 5 months down the road, so she would be a 5. And it shows you what your pipeline is for the next few months, which is a really cool tool. I've got a link. I forgot where I got it from. I got it years ago. And I really like it because it's interactive. Susie bought, you take Susie out, put Tim in, and Tim wants to buy in March, so he's an 8. That kind of, you know, our business sometimes is like this. And when you are here, you go, oh my God, what business is, where is my business going to come from? You can look at your pipeline and go, ah, that's right. Tim said he was going to, you know, and it gives you a little bit more predictability. And also, if you keep your lead generation and your pipeline steady, you don't do as much of the up and down that many agents experience, this roller coaster. One thing you also want to do is track on page 53. So here's your log. Really important that you track everything, how many dials, how many contacts, number of appointments that you've set, appointments gone to, agreements signed, and number of contracts. Again, it makes your business more predictable. If after like 2 months you see, okay, it takes me 200 contacts to get 2 deals, you can then calculate back and go, okay, so in order to get these 200 contacts, I needed to make X dials. Gives you a lot more, it makes your business smoother. Again, if you experience a hiccup and, you know, get a little nervous looking at these numbers, you'll go, okay, it's a numbers game. I need to make so many calls, contacts, appointments, and I know they will result in this. So that's really huge. And we are right now working on tracking how many agent referrals we get, client referrals. Daria speaks Russian, and she got into different Russian groups, and she's got 14 Russians in her pipeline. And these people are super loyal. If she closes one, she gets referrals left and right. So you want to track that. Why do you want to track that? So that you know where you want to spend your money. Like Daria now goes out for lunch with her clients because she knows I'm again in front of them after closing, and there's a good chance that I'm going to get somebody else referred to, you know. Or if you see I'm really successful with open houses, that's where you focus your energy because that's what works for you, or door knocking, whatever it might be. So yeah, track everything you do. Any thoughts, ahas of this section? Any takeaways?
What's the best way to, I mean, I know we did it on our internet, you know, like, hey, I have a condo for Saturday and Sunday open house, let them know you can do that. You know, there's sometimes there, but with not a lot of or listings on my own, to get an open house to host.
I would just go door knocking here at the different offices and go, hey, do you guys have any open houses available that I can hold? Because real estate is a numbers game and it's personal. If we know you, makes it a lot easier going, oh yeah, sure, I've got this or that. So the more time you spend here in, you know, just go and ask in person. If somebody doesn't have anything, no. But, you know, you made the effort and stopped by and asked, yeah, totally. That's what I would do. Because we're getting a lot of emails and there's a lot of Facebook activity going on. I don't always see it. So yeah, if you're looking for something, just ask the different teams, do you have any listings I can hold open? Yeah. So now preparing for the buyer presentation. How do you guys prepare for an appointment with the buyer?
Questions together, you know, what you want to ask.
That's okay. That's okay. So here is right. We ripped off and duplicated somebody's buyer presentation. Again, I don't recall where I got it from. It's a PowerPoint. You can fix it up whichever way, whatever works for you. And I'm now bringing my buyers in because I know if they come to the office, they're going to work with me. Unless, you know, something comes up and we just go, oh, we are not a match. And even if that is the case, I would, you know, if there's an elephant or something in the room and you just feel, just be honest about it and go, I don't know if we are a match. I think you'd be a great fit for Leslie or Brad, and refer them to that person. Benefit to you is to get a 25% referral fee. So this is our PowerPoint that we do. And again, it goes over the process so that they don't have wrong expectations, and you can fix that up whichever way works for you. Again, and the whole point of that is to get them to know you better. You want to get to know them better and help them find the right home and make the purchase. And you're much better off spending a lot of time up front than, just driving throughout both counties, trying to find the right home. And then after 10 showings going, now I know it's the piano that they wanted. Yeah. And then we've got a pretty extensive guide to buying a home. Where we ask like a million questions, and that takes about, these two together probably take about 1.5 hours. Again, the idea is you're better off spending the time now in really finding all that's important than driving around. Because if you've got somebody who's just kind of looking, you can't motivate them to buy a home. You got to find the motivation for them to buy. If you guys want to have any copies or anything, we can definitely get those to you.
I've seen different ones online.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton, whatever works for you. I do like the buyer presentation. I haven't done it. It took me years to finally commit to it. Now it really helps because buyers don't know that you can help them with for sale by owners, right? They think for sale by owner is a for sale by owner and agent is out. So explaining that in there, I can help you with that. I can negotiate the price and, negotiate on your behalf was really helpful once I realized, right? Especially in today's world, we've got a lot of for sale by owners. New construction, some buyers think, if I go directly to the builder, I'll get a discount. No, you're not. They've built the commission into their marketing budget. That's just part of it.
So when you represent a buyer who goes to for sale by owner,
Mm-hmm.
how much does FISBO pay your commission?
So before I show the home, I call the for sale by owner, and if it's still available, just because it's on Zillow doesn't mean anything. Yes, it is. And are you willing to pay a buyer's commission? Yes, I am. And then I send over the commission agreement for Jane and John Doe for 30 days. And it's really just protecting these people and me as the agent. And they usually go for it. Most of them do. And if they don't, I would still show it. I would have a conversation with my buyers before going in. Okay, so the seller does not want to pay my commission. let's take a look at the home. Let's see if you like it. A. B, you see, I get only paid if you end up closing on the home. So I would negotiate my commission in such a way, making sure that you are paying less for the home that allows you to pay me the commission. That's always a little tricky conversation. I have not come across where my buyer paid it. It is covered in the buyer broker agreement. If you read through that document, it'll show you that the buyer, when they sign, says, yes, I will pay your commission if, you know, if it's only $1 that they are offering or something. Yeah. So, I mean, you wouldn't just go in, please sign here. You would go over it. I've never come across it. And usually for sale by owners are overpriced and it doesn't work out. But yeah, before showing it, always have them sign. You don't want to show it, your buyer loves it, and then the for sale by owner goes, right? Yeah. Okay. Your process in building, or your system to get appointments and have good appointments is you want to give them a strong value proposition. Why you? Why should they work with you when they could work with Juliana or Brad, right? You want to prepare a buyer guide. And you could take something like this and just, you know, customize it. And it doesn't have to be like 30 pages. And there's stuff online that you can customize just so that you can, you know, show value. You want to have your appointment management and you want to be prepared for the process. Let's see here. So part of your proposition is you want to do the needs analysis. You want to go over the pre-approval process and get them pre-approved. You want to talk about the different neighborhoods, the home search, explain the making an offer process, what is involved today. For instance, we say in here that, you know, usually it's a 2% earnest money deposit and the check will be cashed. It's not that you drop off a check and it goes in a drawer, it will be cashed. The reason you say that is you want to make sure they have the money in the account. You explain how you negotiate on their behalf, how you can help them with vendor coordination, with the pre-closing preparation, the final walkthrough, you know, helping putting it all together. And then after closing, you know, we have moving companies, I have handymen that I can refer you to. So that's kind of your value proposition. And if you've got somebody where you go, oh gosh, we are both from the same area, that, you know, helps you to create a bond.
You mentioned earnest money check,
Mm-hmm.
2% in your proposal in your presentation. Who do they write it to?
They don't write it at the time of writing an offer. When I write the offer, I always check off within 3 days. And then whoever we choose as closing agent, I use Steve Greenberg and Berlin Patton. I've got, you know, collateral on both of them, and I tell my clients, you know, you may choose whoever you want to.
The client picks it out of who you provided, or you?
I tell them these two companies my clients use. However, if you know anybody else that you would like to use, you know, totally fine. I do give them the opportunity to pick whoever.
They pick up the phone and go,
Yes.
hey,
Well,
I'm doing this, or is it you picking up the phone and calling on their behalf to the closing agent?
so once we picked whoever they picked, the contract just goes to the closing agent, and we now created email templates where we go, okay, buyer's names, contact information, listing agent, lender, buying agent, closing agent, all. And this email, a little modified, goes out to everybody with the contract attached, and then everybody takes care of their part. And I do always encourage using an attorney, because my thought is the costs of just using a title company versus an attorney are pretty close, if not the same. And you get legal advice if you need it. Because I can read the contract to you, but I can't explain because I'm not an attorney. And if you ever find a term or something you don't understand, you can call your attorney and they can explain that at no additional cost. I use Steve Greenberg, ICAT Merrill, and Christoph Volkers at Berlin Patent.
And those both have attorneys associated with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, both of, so Steve works with his daughter Natalie, and they've got, I think, 3 closing teams. I've got my favorite closing team, always work with them, because you get to know each other and you can go, hey, I really need you to do this, that, and the other. Can we make that a procedure? This is what I expect. Yeah. So on page 62, you've got a list of suggested items for your buyer guide. And why don't you check off which ones you have or don't have, or want to create one, and what do you think you would like to see in it? We are actually currently working on a buying guide that is really catered to what we do. We always had it for the listing side, and with buyers, we always, kind of winged it. And we now are putting it all together to be part of our value presentation and make sure our clients know why they want to work with us. So what do you want to include in yours?
Well, I checked off quite a few things, and then, welcome letter,
Mhm.
so it's there, and then I can revert back to it. Buyer questionnaire, timeline,
Mhm.
representation agreement,
Mhm.
market analysis. We kind of know what they're moving towards for just the neighborhood analysis, and then disclosures, and then items required for the loan application.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's great. What about you? Anything to add? Or where you go,
I just kind of go over it to see what is on here.
yeah, that's really nice. It makes it personal, right? And you can have a template saved in Word or something. Maybe one template geared to relocation, move up buyer, buying your first home, and then you just kind of add the names and do minor changes to it, but you've got it, and you just print whatever you need. Anything else?
22-page digital buyer guide.
There you go. Yeah, and this is, what we use. We don't reinvent the wheel any longer. It's just too time consuming. Somebody has done it before. Yeah, that's the creativity part. I'm just like, okay, I'm done. Another great source for you guys to R&D, rip off and duplicate is tlgshares.com. That's the Lance Loken group. G for George, shares with an S, sharing.com. If you go there, they'll make you sign in. But once you signed in, you've got access to anything and everything they do have done. They are a huge team based out of Houston and now also going into expansion. When Slokin got into the business, I want to say right about the same time I did. He followed systems. I didn't. And he went from, I don't want to be a realtor. I don't want to sell homes. He came from the corporate, has a corporate background. And him and his wife sat down, came up with a plan. They are hugely successful, super nice. Always speak at different functions. And on this website, they've got everything they've done, everything that's successful, and you can just download it and make it your own. So appointment management, again, this is all about saving you as well as your clients time. You want to make sure that at least the day before you just confirm the day and time, making sure, they still have it on their calendar. Confirm the location. I would follow up with another, after you talk to them, follow up with another email, and make sure all decision makers are going to attend. Because you don't want to do a second appointment because one of them is not able to come.
If you just can't get to it because of work, or my husband's out of town for 3 weeks internationally, and we're going to have to move because he get to look. We're looking to continue to go with the path, because
I would try and say, hey, what about, so your husband is in Europe 6 hours ahead. How about maybe on a Saturday or Sunday when you are off work, we'll do a Zoom call with all 3 of us on there and then go over it. I understand your husband pretty well, and what you guys are looking for, but that way he gets to know me too, and we can all come up with a plan. That would be my go-to.
Okay.
Doesn't always work, but with today's Zoom calls, it makes it a lot easier, and definitely something you can do. You want to bring your buyer guide and any other information you may have, including the buyer agency agreement. Prepare the meeting space, make sure you've got an office reserved. And I would actually do that right when you set the appointment, and then put it also in your calendar so that you don't
check the calendar for some of
Mhm.
these rooms.
Yeah.
So my thought was to have it kind of up and ready
Mhm.
as we're going through. They say no to the 2 times that I'd like, but here
Right.
I want to adjust and go, oh, there's a room available.
Yeah.
And sign in for it right then.
Most of the time, if you are scheduling something a few days in advance, and it's just 1 or 2 coming, ideally in today's world, I usually go with the big conference room, just because not everybody is comfortable today. If that is taken, I would try the small conference room and also if you see, okay, I don't know, Matt or Anya has the big room reserved, you can always check and go, hey, I've got, I just wanted to double check. I see you are reserved in this room. Any chance you could move it into a different one? Yeah. I wouldn't have a booked room keep me from setting the appointment. Yeah, and before you meet with them, you want to review the lead sheet, and you don't need to memorize everything. Bring it with you. And as you talk to them, oh, and you told me, you know, you were looking for this, you were looking for that. 65 is where we're at. Okay. Yeah, again, follow up with the and confirm the appointment. Do that 24 hours in advance. And again, if you, I always like calling if they don't object to that, because I always feel a text can be quite impersonal. And with the call, I can put a smile on my face, even if I'm not happy at that moment. Just doing that makes my voice sound differently. Yeah. So the preparation process for understanding the market. Now, they did tell you kind of general what they are looking for. I would probably have the MLS ready to go so that we can look at properties and say yes or no, give them an overview, how little we have on the market, what the days on market are, the features that they may be able to expect in their price range.
Yeah, everything's fine. Stand down. Thank you. Brad Bryan. Bye.
It's okay. That was different. Okay. Yeah, so make sure you go prepared into the appointment. Again, it's all about showing that you are the expert. And this is all stuff that you can read up the hour before and bring your notes in. Let's see, avoid pitfalls. That's our preparation process. Yeah, so scripting, I was very resistant to that too, because I thought it sounded canny, it isn't me. Yeah, as you practice, you sound like a machine and it's not you. But as you continue to practice, it sounds more and more natural. And it's what it helps with is you learn how to handle certain objections, because it's always the same that's coming up, always. And you just know how to respond without thinking. So that's why we want to practice. And we do want to do that. We do want to practice our scripts 3 to 4 hours each day, and you'll become better than 90% of the agents in your area. And full disclosure, I don't practice 3 or 4 hours. Make it a 20, 30 minutes, and just, yeah, that makes a huge difference. And when you talk to clients at an appointment or prior to the appointment, always ask open-ended questions. Like, are you working with an agent? Usually say yes. My follow-up question would be, who's your agent, so that I can follow up with your agent? And if they can't give me the name, it's likely not true. Yeah, with open-ended questions also, you will get a lot more information from the buyers. Just they start telling you things. So that's definitely something you want to do. And yeah, you are there for them to help them, not just through the process, but you are also a decision facilitator. You cannot motivate a person to buy a home, but you can help them see, sometimes people get starry eyes over kitchen, yet they don't realize the backyard is way too small. And then you are there to help them and go, okay, so yeah, the kitchen is amazing. you mentioned you needed a big backyard. Is this backyard big enough? Because over the kitchen, they might not see this, or that they are backing up to the freeway. Might not bother them, but I'd be open and honest about it and go, okay, so the reason this home is so spectacular and priced below everything else we've seen is the freeway behind it. Are you okay with, you get back noise? Oh yeah, that's fine. We're from New York, doesn't bother us. New York City, this is nothing. Okay, perfect. Is this the right home? Yes, it is. And I would then also say, so just know when you decide to sell, this is going to be an objection you will get. Or the house that we've got listed right now, tiny backyard, 5-bedroom home, tiny backyard, really non-existent. There's no pool in the community. There's no room for a pool. When my clients bought it 2 years ago, I go, look, we are getting it at a discount because there's no pool and no room for a pool. Just know when the time comes to sell, that's going to be the feedback. And guess what? That's the feedback. So yeah, you help them being a decision facilitator, just kind of, make sure it ticks all the boxes and, they're making the right decision for themselves. This is what creates referral and repeat business and great reviews. If you're just out looking at your best interest, which is the payday, they feel that. All right. So here's just one more quote from Gary. Your job is not only to help people make the best decision, it is also to help them get off the fence and make a decision in the first place. How do you accomplish that? By staying in curiosity and finding out everything you can about your buyer's needs, wants, and values. Then ask them to buy. And that's really important, just to ask and go, so you said you wanted X, Y, and Z. This property has the great kitchen, the big backyard, the pool, space, walk, whatever. Yes. Would you like to write an offer on this home? And if they go, don't know, well, this is a brand new listing. We've seen 5 others before. They all needed work. And then I always point to the business cards. You do have to make a quick decision because this one is probably going to get multiple offers. If you don't do that, they're going to be upset when their home goes pending and they didn't get the opportunity. And I always say, look, I'm never going to push you into a decision, but I will point out if it's a hot property that, you probably need to act really fast. Any questions? Well, that's going to take over from here. I guess come back. How long of a lunch do you usually take? Okay, then I'm going to tell him to come in at 1 and take over from there. You are welcome. Yeah, if you ever need anything, just come on over to us. We're in the back corner. And yeah, stop by.
I do have a question other than